The Lord gave me a dream last night about the Battle of Armageddon and the rapture. And I know that it was the Lord because He definitely verified it multiple times in my dream. But I'm going to tell you guys the dream, and then I'm going to break it down because there's a lot of meaning behind different parts of this dream, verifying what this dream was about. So, to start off, I was in a classroom type setting. It was actually in my bedroom, but it was more of a classroom type setting. And it was me, my older brother, and my cousin, and another gentleman that was telling us his dream. So this is one of the ways that I know that this was the Lord telling me in a dream, or showing me that we are in these times and that the rapture is going to soon happen. He was explaining the dream that he had, and in this dream, him and many other people were on top of a hill, and they knew that in this dream, or he knew that they resembled the church, the Christian church. Now, while on this hill, they saw from every side, front, back, side, right, left, that there was a different military. So in the front, he said, was a Muslim army. On the right, he said, was a Hindu army. On the left, he said, was an Asian army. And behind him was more of a Caucasian army. He said that he remembers seeing them all running towards him. It was a war. They all had weapons, various types of weapons. And he said that he looked up in the sky and he said, "Lord, this isn't fair. That why are all of these armies together against us?" He said, "This isn't fair." And when he looked up, he said that in the heavens, he saw massive war going on. Massive beasts battling angels, different types of entities battling angels. And it looked like they were going to win the darkness. You know, there's all these armies from front, side, back, coming towards him and the church, and it looks like they're going to win, which is why he said, "Lord, this isn't fair." And then he looks up. It looks like they're going to win because it is a bloodbath. And he said the very last second, right before they won, bam, the whole church on that hill was translated. They were raptured, and everything, all of the evil entities, all of the darkness in the heavens, and all of the bad guys, a satanic army that will be in the end times, which will be all of these different religions combined. They're going to join. It was going to be the one world religion. He said they were all destroyed like that, and the whole church was raptured. Now in this dream, now you have to remember, I'm in a dream. He's explaining to me his dream in my dream. So that's the Lord telling you, yeah, you're in a dream. He's telling you that he's telling you a real story, a real event that's going to take place. Now my cousin, he said, "Now who has questions?" And in the dream I raised my hand, and he said, he called on me. I didn't have a question. Well, he said, "What do you think?" I said, "It's beautiful." And he's like, "What do you mean it's beautiful?" It's the perfect story. And he was like, "Oh my gosh, yes, finally someone said it." It's the perfect story. The biblical story is the perfect story. Well, then my cousin on the side of me, he's atheist, and he's trying to ask this question of doubt. He's like, "Well, if I'm sleeping, is the Lord still with me?" That's the question that he asked. So he's saying, I was asleep and the Lord was with me. And his answer, I looked at him and I said, "Jesus says, I will never leave you nor forsake you. So even when you're sleeping, He's there with you." Now, this is really interesting because at the end of the dream, I randomly thought about my ex-girlfriend, Callie. I don't know why, but I just said, oh yeah, my ex-girlfriend Callie, I remember her phone number, and I literally out loud spoke her phone number. But you have to understand, we broke up when I was 20. If you asked me before this dream what her phone number was, I couldn't tell you. I could not remember that at all. But in this dream, just bam, I spoke her phone number, and it was the phone number. I woke up in the morning and I typed that phone number in. It was her phone number. But God also speaks to me through the number 44. The last 4 digits of the phone number is 4426. But Callie also means something. So let's get into it. I'm going to break this down for you. So it is said that the Battle of Armageddon is going to happen in the Jezreel Valley, which is Armageddon, I believe is the actual name or what they call it. But right there, in proximity to the Jezreel Valley, in the northeastern part of the Jezreel Valley, which might as well be the Jezreel Valley, there is a mountain a hill called Mount Tabor. This is the hill or the mountain that they claim is where Christ's transfiguration was. So if you don't know what the transfiguration is, that is where Moses and Elijah appeared to Jesus on this mountain, and when they did, God above said, "This is my son whom I love, with him I am well pleased, listen to him." The disciples fell to the ground. Jesus told them to get up and not be afraid. When they looked up, they saw only Jesus. Jesus' face and clothes became white, but it was Peter, James, and John that were on this mountain with him. So I'm like, oh my gosh, this was in my dream, Mount Tabor in the Jezreel Valley, where the Battle of Armageddon is going to take place, and on top of the mountain is where they claim the transfiguration of Jesus Christ was. Now also on this mountain is a church called the Franciscan Church, as I believe is how you pronounce it. I don't want to keep you guys too long, so if you want to pause it and read this, you can go ahead and do that. Which, like I said, in my dream, it was the church on the top of the mountain. It was the Christians. Now, Callie, I was sitting there and I'm like, what would Callie have to do with anything? And bam, it popped in my mind. The goddess of Callie. What is the goddess of Callie? The goddess Callie is often associated with war, but in a specific way. She is a fierce warrior goddess who embodies destruction, power, and the annihilation of evil forces. In Hindu mythology, she is depicted as a battlefield goddess who slays demons and protects righteousness. She is also the goddess of transformation, of transfiguration. Now, I do not believe that Jesus is trying to bring any actual significance to the goddess of Callie as if she is something that we should worship. I just think that it was a way that he could explain to me what I was dreaming about. It was just more evidence, more proof that what I dreamt about was actually the Battle of Armageddon and the rapture, because we were transformed in the twinkling of an eye in this dream before the evil forces, which is a lot of people say in their rapture dreams right now, that right before destruction came, we were raptured. Right before the things came, we were raptured. So I just thought that was so awesome. I was just piecing it together. There were many different ways that anyways, God bless you guys.